music in general is such a pure thing at its core. It's like celebrating being alive and being a person. You know, it's taking pain and struggle and creating your own justice on a canvas or in a song. It's almost like all the things, at least for me, all the things that are wrong with the world that you can't immediately fix with a snap of a finger, maybe I can fix it in this song at least and feel some type of peace. And then if somebody hears that, they might feel some type of peace and be inspired to live differently. That's how I, look at music and art for myself.
And how do you think record labels take that into consideration?
They don't give a shit. They just care if you're getting views and plays and money. Yeah. Because to that, you have to think, because I'm a business owner now, so I own multiple businesses. So when I go into a conversation with someone who wants to collaborate or something like that, I view it as, is this going to build my business or destroy my business? Is this going to be a money pit? Am I going to lose money? Am I going to make money? Of course, like I try to lead with my heart. And if somebody's doing something great, I want to like help out or contribute, then I'm going to be more like compassionate towards that and like more likely to take a risk. But for the most part, I can't take a risk on something, even no matter how great it is, that's going to bankrupt me, right? So in the same sense, like these businesses they don't give a shit. They're where they are because they control everything. They control the narratives, and they're being paid by all the biggest powers in the world to keep pushing those same narratives. And everything is, monitored and censored and like directed towards a certain way because consumerism is what keeps our economy flowing for those who are benefiting from. I mean, I benefit from it, so I can't really. we all do, but yeah. I mean, in a sense, like the music industry, and it's unfortunate because living in LA, my experience has been there are so many unsuccessful, people who they had one hit or they had a few good runs with an artist and they started a label. And they live off that for years and they keep talking about, I made this one, whatever. And then they become, out of touch, or sometimes it's not even just about being out of touch. You could have all the resources in the world. If you don't make good music or if you sign somebody who sucks, I don't care how much money you put behind it. If people don't resonate with it, it's not going to go anywhere. And so these people, like they try and then they get burnt out. And then now they have this perception that because they got a Grammy or whatever, or a few Grammys, they have to like maintain this look and they want to be cool. And, so they meet with like a younger version of me when I just moved to LA, and they're like, yeah, come under my wing. I'm going to give you the world. I'm going to turn you into Justin Bieber. Like tomorrow I can call Justin Bieber right now. Like he'll, collab with you, like, straight up. Like that's what, these guys say, like, and then you find out you spend a little more time with them and you start to just see the reality of how some of them are even living themselves, financially it's not that great. And so it's like, when you start to see that, it's like, how are you going to really do that if you're struggling yourself? And then you look at the contract and it's all just,
it's laid out there.
There's so many provisions that basically say, if you think about what a record label is, it's a conglomerate of many people with multiple departments whose job is to find stuff that it used to be to take something that had potential and make the world see it and make it amazing, make it better. Mm-hmm. Now it's become find something that's already amazing and colonize it. Come take it for everything that it is, give them as little as possible and exploit it to the furthest extent as possible and take all the soul out of it.
Right, and do you think that's happening right now with, because you came from social media, right? So all the music that is coming in right now, all these artists, they almost don't need the record label. They have their own following. Yeah. So how is that affecting the record labels?
So that brings me to the next part of my story. So I said no to all these big, deals. And then, I was kind of broke, honestly, but I was like, I'd rather be broke and have my freedom. So I was living in LA. A lot of people in my circle were getting really famous on Musical.ly before it was TikTok, just for doing these lip syncs to these random songs that nobody had ever heard of before. They weren't like big label push songs. They were just like independent artists, mostly like hood rappers, honestly, that were just like all blowing up because the contrast of like a pretty white girl lip syncing like a super ratchet hood song was just so shocking to people that it would go viral over and over and over and over again. And I saw that business opportunity. I was like, huh. So I reached out to all of them and put them all in a group chat and said, we're going to make some money together. Started made a spreadsheet of all. I'm giving away the sauce right now, but it's fine.
I've seen all this. I can validate it all. Yeah, you don't have to give it all away. Save a few little.
Chill.
Anyway, I turned it into a business, and then I went back to the labels who offered me deals originally. I said, hey, you remember when you wanted me to get fake followers? I figured out the real way to break new music on social media, and in fact, this is the way that new music is going to break, whether you like it or not. So if you don't jump on this bandwagon, you're going to become irrelevant. Yeah. And I was like, that'll be $30,000 if you'd like to participate. And first one said yes.
And they're $30,000 per project?
Yeah, to market. I mean, these labels have huge marketing budgets. That's like
what?
Nothing.
Per post?
No. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So the $30K was like that was our first deal, was to pay TikTokers to lip sync to one song. So yeah. So it's all these kids who had never gotten paid for anything in their life before. And I was like, here, I got $2,000 for you if you make this 15-second video. And they were like, what? And then
TikTok's in the music
and I was
business.
like, here, Venmo, boom. They were like,
shit.
I watched it.
You just sent me $2,000.
In this project, the song that you sent to them was coming from which artist?
I signed an NDA.
Okay, but a lot of different artists.
So it's
signed a lot of
different artists.
He signed an NDA, and I'll say it this way to everybody. What you don't know is that the artist that looks independent was signed, and some company, some company gave a $50,000 check to someone sitting at this table, not you and me, and that person then went and found 10 different people and gave them 5,000 minus whatever, and gave all those 10 people who all had millions of TikTok followers and said, use this audio track, credit it here. And then all of a sudden you heard it hit the radio a few weeks later because it became the next viral sound.
Yep.
And he's the one that did it, and I witnessed and I've seen the numbers. So anybody else, you can comment below. But that's when I went, dude, you're really smart. You're not just a super talented musician, but you knew business. And obviously it's been shifting now. TikTok's trying to get into music. The whole world. Listen, one of the things we'll talk about is how much the world's changed from. I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, my generation, you just look at tapes and CDs, and then it became streaming, and then music stores went out of business. And the same thing with the movie. I'm in the movie space, right? Nobody, even the streaming guys, are trying to figure out what to do. Like, everything is changing so much all the time now. Like, I'm not talking like, like before we used to talk, in 10 years from now. Now it's like 10 months from now. Now it's 6 months from now. What the frick's going to happen? It's moving that fast where it's like, literally, how do I make money with this? Oh, it's too late. You missed it. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's that fast. So it's like, as much as he could share that, we can tell you this. That was right at the height. That was like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden, here it is 2 years later. It feels like yesterday we were sitting in there. And I'm like going, so now if you try to do that, markets are, there's probably 10 other. It's so anyway. But
I just got hit up last night by a label to do another campaign. Yeah, so it's evolved for sure.
And you're doing the campaign, like, you're not really involved in the music process in this
scenario. Yeah.
So it's more of
it's
like
the
connecting.
song's done. The manager or the label or sometimes the artists themselves hit me up, and they're like, "We have a song. Can you make it go viral?" I'm like, yes, I can. Mm-hmm. That just depends on how much money you have. Depends on how viral it's going to go.